Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Drive-Thru. I'm your host, Tony T. As we broadcast live here on Pick Dogs and Sports Chat Place YouTube channel and throughout social media. We'll get you out of here well before the top of the hour. Give you guys enough time to get those bets in for the primetime games. That's what we do here on the Drive-Thru Monday through Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Is deliver live free sports picks for the games beginning here at 7 p.m. Eastern Time and later. Sometimes we go off the rails with that, like days like today when we have limited games up there. We will fudge with that as well. But for the most part, we give you the games for the ones at 7 Eastern Time and later. Let's take a look at who'll be on the show with us here for today. All right, with us today we got Mitch with us, Chris Ruffolo, got Big Al McMordie. We've got with us Ninos, also scheduled to appear, James Clark. Dana Lang, we know, is going to sign in late, and so will James Clark. So those two will be signing in a little bit later. And here's how they'll line up for this evening. We've got Ruffolo, Clark, McMordie, Ninos, Zawacky, Lane, Mitch, and I will close this one out. All right. We're still waiting on here on this baseball game. We'll see if we get this Braves-Phillies game 2 in. Rain delay, so we'll see how that rolls. And you know what's going on behind the scenes, right? They want to make sure that they can go, their pitchers can go a full 7 innings, and the drama that goes beyond that, right? They don't want their pitcher to start, have to sit through another rain delay, then go to their bullpen. So we'll see how this rolls out. But the weather's perfect in Southern California. We know we'll have game 2 of the Dodgers Padres tonight. So let's go ahead, let's get this one underway. Let's go welcome in Chris Ruffolo. You'll find him over at Pick Dogs. I'm also part of that morning crew every day here at 10 a.m. each time. Chris, what's happening?
Tony, I'm just sitting here worrying about the baseball game. They said they're going to revisit the forecast in about half an hour, potentially first pitch at 7:30 to 7:45 Eastern, but only time will tell.
Only time will tell, and of course they're going to want a full weather forecast, right? We want to know what the forecast is for the next 2.5 hours, so I don't have to burn my pitcher, right?
You know what? Would anything surprise anybody anymore? Nobody wants to burn their pitcher, but I think they just want to get the game and try to focus on winning the game, but you do with it what you will, right?
Yeah, I think we could play a day game tomorrow. But again, tomorrow we know the Yankee game, there was 80% chance of rain tomorrow, so we can see if they can even get that win again tomorrow, so we'll have to see how that rolls anyway. We're getting to the ice where we know they play in a building, so we know we're going to get this one in tonight at 7 Eastern Time. Canadians here at home against the Maple Leafs. Maple Leafs favored in this one, total 6.5.
Yeah, thankfully, there might not be a rain delay in this one. But what I could tell you is that I do think this is going to be an entertaining game tonight. This is one of the oldest rivalries in hockey. Toronto, Montreal, two of the original 6 teams going at it in this one. And I think we're going to have a fairly, like I said, an entertaining affair in this one. Montreal was one of the worst teams in the league last year. Toronto, well, they're allergic to making it past the first round, but that's neither here nor there. We're talking about opening night. And tonight, I'm looking for a high-scoring game. Toronto every year seems to have one of those games, or at least a couple of those games against division rivals, like your Ottawa Senators, like your Montreal Canadiens, where they kind of just get caught looking past them. They kind of get caught with their pants down and are in games that are a lot closer than they should be. You look at the talent level side by side with Toronto boasting names like Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner, William Nylander. This should be a Toronto team that blows Montreal out of the water. At one point last year, I think this was a Montreal team that had 10 wins in 60 games or something like that last year. But you look at just how these two teams have fared. They played a bunch of one-goal games last year, and Montreal even won a couple of those games outright, and a lot of them had a lot of scoring. I don't trust the goaltending on either side coming into this game. Jake Allen only had 9 wins last year. He had a goals against average around 3.5. And Toronto, well, they're slated to start Matt Murray tonight, and I have high hopes for Matt Murray going long term, but he still got to prove it. This was a guy that had a sub-900 save percentage last year, still had a goals against average himself around 3. And I think, like I said, this is just going to be one of those entertaining back-and-forth games that it's going to probably be a lot closer than you would think. I could easily see this being 4-3 or 5-4, but I see it getting well over the 6.5.
All right, Chris says going well over the 6.5 in this one here between the Canadians here and the Toronto Maple Leafs. And what are your thoughts here on this Maple Leafs team, Chris? I know that's a team near and dear to you. Of course, a lot more heartache in the postseason. Obviously they got to shake this off. They got a good roster, some coaching now. How do you see moving forward?
Well, Tony, we were always talking about hockey when I was here with you on the drive-through for the better part of a year and a half, 2 years. I would always say I'd want the Leafs to be part of my funeral because I'd want them to let me down one last time, because that is what this team does. But I think you're going to see this season, it's basically this is put up or shut up time for Toronto, because you're running out of time on those contracts for Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner, and guys like that. And even the ones you're not running out of time on, they're going to get fed up with not making it out of the first round and continuous criticism from the Toronto media market. I have high hopes for this team, like I said, and I honestly think Ilya Samsonov could be one of the bigger coups of the offseason, for Toronto, bringing this guy in. He was a backup in Washington. He's got top 5 goalie potential. And Matt Murray, we've seen him win a Stanley Cup with the Pittsburgh Penguins, so the goaltending is going to be a hot topic. I'm worried for Sheldon Keefe as head coach, so I think he could be on his way out if the Leafs, underperform a little bit by the All-Star break.
All right, there you go. That Chris's take here on the Toronto Maple Leafs. We'll hear a lot about them here. Of course, you can check out the Puck Dogs with their videos up on the site as well. All right, so we got the play here from Chris. It's going to be here on the Maple Leafs Canadiens over total 6.5. But this one will have a start time here of 7 p.m. Eastern time. All right, Chris, let's go ahead and take a look over at Pick Dogs from tonight, where you put up some fantastic numbers here over the past 7 days. 1,363 units of profit, all documented over the last 7 days over at Pick Dogs Premium from Chris here. All right, tonight we were hoping, we'll see if we have 2 games. We know we'll have one for sure in Major League Baseball. A nice 6-game card here on the ice, as well as some huge card here of preseason basketball tonight. We got, 8 games here from preseason NBA. What do you have going over at Pick Dogs Premium and the college football game?
For tonight, for me, Tony, I got still my MLB pickoff play for $15 and my NHL power play also for $15. Those are my best plays on the board in each respective sport. As well as I have my Whale Bet Wednesday 3-pack. You'll get that pickoff play, the power play, and another NHL play. All 3 plays for $40. You can see we're having a great last 7 days. Hoping to carry that forward. The pickoff play has been money so far in the postseason. But the best value is obviously going long term. I mean, we talk about it all the time. The 3-day will probably be getting into college football Saturday. A lot of us get those plays in Friday night. The week will get you NFL action. We've been killing NFL as well. 30-day will get you well into the latter part of the college football conference schedule, well into NFL. I think into college basketball as well. And the year gets you full seasons of all the major sports for just over $100 a month. And you can pair me up with someone else for part of the 2-for-1 capper deal. Always remember, though, guys, you're running out of time, but still use it. That promo code 15OFF gets you 15% off your purchase at Pick Dogs Premium.
That's right, guys. I come over with Chris Ruffolo over at Pick Dogs Premium. Great results here. 1,360 units of profit over the past 7 days, all documented over at Pick Dogs Premium. So get on board here with Chris. Has a $15 Wednesday MLB pickoff play right now on the board. Credit guarantee, which means it must win or the amount you purchase is credited back into your account. That's what credit guarantee is. Also, NHL individual plays up there as well from Chris. Will Bet, his 3-pack, also credit guarantee. So get on board here. As we were talking about the long-term passes, a great time to get that 1-month all sports pass from Chris. All of his premium plays for 7 days. I'm sorry, for 30 days. Here we are with all these sports overlapping. We got hockey now on the menu. This will cover you the remainder of the Major League Baseball playoffs. NFL, college football, the NBA starts in 6 days, so a good time to get on board here with Chris with this 1-month all sports pass. Use the promo code 15OFF at checkout. You'll save 15% off. You can also add a second capper with that 2-for-1 capper promotion. Even greater value there. All right, Chris, as always, great having the show. Have yourself a great evening. We'll talk next week, but I know you contribute a lot to the Pick Dogs here with your videos. The morning show every day at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And of course, the Puck Dogs with you and Rod with those videos and NHL.
That's funny. I'm trying to get my sleep in now because I'm all of a sudden you blink and then November comes around and we got 100 games for college football the first week of college basketball first week in November. It's coming, but I'll tell you, I love doing the content, love giving everybody free winners with those videos in the morning show. Having a blast, but I always have a soft spot here on the drive-thru. That's
right, Chris here on the drive-thru. All right, Chris, have yourself a great week, and we'll talk with you again next week.
Thanks, Tony. Take it easy.
You got it. Chris Ruffolo here on the drive. Let's continue on here on the show, guys. People coming in today, and if we miss any of our picks, we'll do a recap, guys, at the end of the show, as we always do. Let me take a look here to see. James Clark was scheduled in, but I know he said he was going to be a little late to sign in today, and it looks that to be the case. So go ahead, and Al McMordie will jump the card. So let's go ahead and bring a Big Al McMordie if I'm over at Pick Dogs. Another great year happening here for Big Al. Let's bring him in right now. We'll look at that baseball game tonight here. It's a big one here in Game 2 between Dodgers and the Padres. Here we go. Big Al, how you doing?
Doing well. Had a great day yesterday. 2 easy winners on the Astros and Yankees. So, I'm in a good mood today.
Yeah, very, very good mood. I can tell. I thought you were good. That's good. All right, here we go tonight, 8:30 Eastern time. We have the Padres not playing the Padres. They're facing the Dodgers. Dodgers are minus 190, down a little bit here with a total of 7.
Yeah, I mean, look, the problem for the Padres in this series was that they had to use their 3 top-flight pitchers in that series against the Mets. They had to use Musgrove, Darvish, and Snell. So that left them with Mike Clevenger last night, and of course, not surprisingly, they didn't win that game against Julio Urias. So they get to now use, Darvish, who I think is their best pitcher, and they're now 6-0 in his last 6 road starts. One of those road starts was here at Chavez Ravine, when he threw on September 2nd 7 shutout innings in a 7-1 San Diego Padres win. And in his career, Darvish's teams have been awesome on the road as an underdog when priced from plus 125 to plus 175. They're 7-2. I think San Diego is a real live underdog tonight. This is a virtual must-win for this team because they're not going to be able to win, 3 in a row against the Dodgers most likely. So they need to win tonight to give themselves a decent chance to win this series. And I like the Padres plus, in the $1.65, $1.60 range.
Yeah, $1.60 here against the Dodgers. Yeah, Darvish really looks strong there in New York. He had to look really strong here. Kershaw's, again, he's not going to go very deep in this game. I don't think he can. I mean, maybe it's 5 innings at the most in this spot, and then he's going to turn over the Dodger bullpen. We got to feel a little better here that we showed the Padres showed a little bit of rally there towards the end of the game.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think the Padres have all the confidence in the world, notwithstanding how, the Dodgers are their nemesis. I mean, the Padres have a great offensive lineup, and they can, get the job done tonight. I think this really comes down to, will Darvish, hold the Dodgers to 0 or 1 runs, right? I mean, if Darvish can shut down the Dodgers, then the Padres are going to win this game.
All right, there we go. Padres plus 160 against the Dodgers. This one starts here at 8:37 Eastern Time over on TBS. All right, Big Al, let's take a look over at Pick Dodge Premium for tonight's action. Of course, great results here for 2022. 2,787 units of profit, all documented over at Pick Dodge Premium. We're scheduled for 2 games in baseball. We'll see. We got a big hockey card as well. And we got also play a game up here from college football. What do you have going over at Pick Dodge Premium?
I've got college football tonight. I've got that big Sun Belt matchup is what I thought was the best bet on today's card. So I kind of ignored the baseball when it comes to Pick Dogs Premium. I didn't really love any of the 2 baseball games tonight, but I did like the football game. And, I'm 102 and 73, my last 175, so folks can get on board. I'll be back in action with the NFL, that great matchup tomorrow night between the Commanders and the Bears. I'll have a play on that. And I'll have probably a lot of good stuff this week, especially in the NFL. I should have probably 8 or 9 plays in the NFL this Sunday.
There you guys go. Get on board here with Big Al McMordie over at Pick Dodge Premium. Great results here for 2022. 2,787 units of profit, all documented over at Pick Dodge Premium, showing great results here. Great results in the NFL and more. So get on board. Of course, tonight, Big Al has his Sun Belt Moneymaker. Of course, that is credit guarantee. Must turn a profit, must win, or the amount you purchase is credited back into your accounts. That's credit guarantee there with that one. Also, you can get on board here with Big Al's long-term passes. He has a 3-day, 7, and 30 Al sports pass. That 1-month pass will get you all of Big Al's premium plays here from NFL, from college football, as well as the remainder of the Major League Baseball playoffs. Here is this will take you right into November 13th, and boy, I don't even November 11th. Not yet for college basketball. I almost got nervous to say college basketball's on this very, very close here, but we'll cover NBA as well, as NBA starts 6 days from now, and Big Al will be in action here, of course. So get on board there with Big Al over at Pick Dodge Premium. You could use the promo code 15 off to take 15% off that 1-month all sports pass. And you can also add a second capper with that 2-for-1 capper promotion. Even greater value there. All right, Big Al, as always, great having you show. Have yourself a great afternoon. We'll see what the Padres do tonight, and of course, boy, I was looking at your Spurs the other night.
As long I just want us to win like 18 or less games, I'm going to be thrilled.
You'll be thrilled.
By the way, Mitch and Jay and we did our NFL show earlier today, so I think hopefully that should be loaded up right now for people to view. And we talk about every game on the board, and so far for the season, my picks on every game on the board are 54 and 24 with 2 pushes. So don't miss any of the picks from Jay and Mitch and myself on the NFL weekly show.
Must watch, guys. That's already archived. Once the shows are finished, they're archived over on Pick Dog. So check them out. The NFL show with Mitch, Big Al, and Jay. Check out Big Al has been on fire there. All right, Al. Not surprising. Not surprising at all. All right, Big Al, keep up their great work. We'll talk with you again tomorrow.
Okay. Talk to you tomorrow.
You got it. All right, Big Al McMordie here on the drive-thru. All right, let's continue our coverage, guys. We see James Clark is signed in, so we'll go ahead and bring in James. If I'm over at Pick Dogs Prim, where he's done some great work for the year, bring in James right now. James, what's happening? You're on mute there, James. You're on mute. See if we get James in here. There's nope, still no sound there, James. So you might want to take a look here at your microphone, or maybe do a re-signing, because we're not getting the sound from you. So we'll move ahead. Now we'll push Al Ninos at jump. He'll jump the card, and then we'll get back to James here in just a little bit. So let's continue here on the drive-through here as we'll get James. We'll get back to his. Gotta wait for James to come back here. Yep, James is gonna try to reconnect for the show. So let's go ahead and go on to Skype and bring in Al Ninos. You'll find him over at Pick Dogs Premium. Great NHL season last year. Top unit producer at Pick Dogs. So I think we got ready to roll here with Al Ninos. Al, what's happening?
Going pretty good. How are you doing?
Doing great. All right, here we go tonight at 9:30 Eastern time. We go to this one here between the Avalanche and the Blackhawks. Avalanche, big favorite here, 425, total 6.5.
Yeah, huge favorites indeed. Yeah, the biggest favorites on the board tonight, and rightfully so. You know, they're probably the best team in the league coming into this one, especially after seeing what the Lightning had to show last night. Anyways, a bunch of talented players on this team. There was some question marks around Nate McKinnon, but it looks like he's confirmed and good to go in this one. So that should be a big plus to their team in general, and expect him to maybe score a couple goals for us. It's a couple of different ways I think we can look at this game. You said they're huge favorites. Even that puck line -1.5, you're laying quite a bit of juice there. So I'd probably go Avalanche -2 if anything for the side. But we're looking at the total here, and we saw the Avalanche go on a big over trend last year, and while the Blackhawks do trend a bit more to the under when these two teams meet, it does tend to play more to the over at Colorado's game speed. They tend to establish more their game speed than play at Chicago's. So I think they come in here. It is the first game of the season for them, so we saw a couple teams come out a little slow, a little sloppy. Even that high-scoring game last night had a really slow start to it. It wasn't until later in the game that all the goals were scored. But again, even if they do get a slow start, I think the Avalanche can score a ton of goals here against Peter Mrazek, who's coming off a rough season. He was playing for Toronto, so he was getting a lot of goal support there. But he might know that he needs to be a little sharper this season, as he won't get as much offense from this team. But I still think it's a tough way to start your season here against one of the best offenses in the league. So maybe look for another rough start from him. I think again, maybe the Avalanche laying the 2 goals, another good look. But we're going this game to go over the total here.
All right, Nino here going over here. Blackhawks and Avalanche. Of course, Avalanche the champion here. They raise a banner. You have all this commotion that goes on for the champion. The Blackhawks are. I don't know if they're a good enough team even to take advantage of it. The way this is lined here, it's pretty uphill challenge here for this Colorado team. But again, how much help can Chicago offensively do to this? Because it's a big number. You got to get to 7, right? And is it not? It's not going to be all Colorado. So how do you feel about the offense here of the Blackhawks to get on the board?
Yeah, that's the thing. As I said, there's a couple different ways we can look at this. If you want to look at the team totals, sure, you could look at the Avalanche over 4.5 goals. Then again, you still got to get to 5. If they get to 5, why not get to 6, right? And if they get
7, you got to get to 7.
If they get to 6, we won't need much help from the Blackhawks. So again, different ways you can bet this. Maybe -2 is the more conservative approach. I think maybe the more likely outcome. But then again, 2 goals to cover in hockey isn't always going to come through, So you can only score 1 goal at a time. So that being said, play we're going here for is the over. I may be betting the Avalanche -2 myself. But yeah, you could also look at just the team total if you don't think the Blackhawks are going to be able to get past Georgia here in Colorado.
All right, we got Al here on the Blackhawks Avalanche over total of 6.5 goals. This one to have a start time here of this one 9:30 Eastern time. All right, El Ninos, let's take a look over at Pick Dog Sprint. We were the top unit producer in the NHL last season. We have 6 games on the board from the NHL, some preseason NBA, and a college football game with a couple scheduled from baseball. What do you have going on over at Pick Dogs Premium?
Bit of everything tonight. 3 sports in action. I got my best bet in each sport all wrapped up into one 3-pack. So if you want to check that out, if not, I got a 3-pack in just hockey. Just one bet in the MLB tonight, so you can get my best bet in each sport individually as well. But again, the best way to go is one of the long-term 2-for-1 capper specials, and you'll make sure you get all the plays that way.
That's right, guys. Again, with Ninos over at Pick Dogs Premium. See the results from last year's NHL. He was the top unit producer over at Pick Dogs Premium in the NHL. 2,824 units of profit, all documented right now on the board from Al. He does have his 3-pack right now. He puts his college football, MLB, and best bet from the NHL together in one bet. Hey, we're back to alphabets. Now we got all these sports overlapping, so the alphabets come into play right now. Credit guarantee on this 3-pack means it must turn a profit or the amount you purchase is credited back into your account. That's what credit guarantee is. Also, individual plays that they're from El Ninos, a lot of individual NHL plays as well. Again, if you want to get all these plays, you may consider the long-term pass. So here we are on a Wednesday. You may consider that 7-day all sports pass. That'll get you all El Ninos' plays here from the NHL for 7 days, as well as the baseball playoffs, the conclusion of the divisional series, and maybe right into the league championship series next week with that 7-day pass, as well as we'll get you a couple of days of the NBA, which begins here on Tuesday with that 7-day pass, as well as all the NFL. Of course, we have NFL here on Thursday, Sunday, and Monday. College football here on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So a lot of action with that 7-day pass. Use the promo code 15 off to save 15% off your purchase. You can add a second capper with that 2-for-1 capper promotion. Even greater value there. All right, Al, as always, great having you on your show. Have yourself a great evening. We'll talk with you again tomorrow.
All right, thanks, Tony. Have a good one.
You got it. El Ninos here on the drive to Let's continue on. Have a lot of people signing on here, guys. If you missed any of our picks, we will do a complete recap at the end of the show. All right, we're going to go now back to James Clark. He has signed in, one of the top unit producers over at Pick Dogs for this year. We got to bring in James Clark right now. Let's see if we get him in to the show here. Let's wire him in right now. James, what's happening? We still got you, James. Still no sound there. You need to check your microphone. There's some mute issues there, so we'll see. We still can't, no sound coming in from James Clark. So hopefully you can get that corrected. Maybe do a reboot or something and check the mic on your setting there, but we're not getting any sound. All right, let's continue on here on the drive-through here. I'll put myself on the camera as James tries to get his wires connected there. We're scheduled next here for Rod Zawacky. Let me make sure he is on this. No, Rod is not in on the call right now, so we will come back and we will have Dana Lane jump the card. So Dana Lane is signed in, so we'll go ahead and bring in Dana. You'll find him over at Pick Dogs Premium. Hockey season has begun. We're going to get some hockey here from Dana, so let's see if we can bring him in right now. I know he's not a fan, but Vegas did get one over LA last night, so let's bring him in. What do you thought about that? Your thoughts there, Dana? How's it going?
Good, man. How you doing, Tony?
Doing great. All right, here we go. We're going to look at games. We got a limited card night, so we're going to Thursday here with the Islanders. A favorite last year from a lot of people's eyes, but they did not perform up to expectations. They're hosting here the Florida Panthers. Panthers favorite on the road, total 6.
I don't think there's a team in the National Hockey League that is looking forward to the regular season more than the New York Islanders. And, of course, it's been well documented what happened last year where they were not able to get into their arena because it just wasn't ready for the regular season. That forced the Islanders to go on the road for the first 13 games. And if you remember, Tony, they came back only a game under 500. But the key part about that 13-game road trip was the fact that they lost their last 4 in that trip. And I think that really just set the tone for the rest of the season. Of course, they're still battling COVID. I don't know. There's a lot of talk about Barry Trotz. I think was ready to go after last year. I mean, he midway through the year. And I think he didn't want to quit, but certainly Lou Lamoriello said, we're going to have to part ways. And, then they bring in Lane Lambert, who, maybe, they always talk about how teams want a different voice in the room. Well, Lambert, of course, spent a good part of his career under Barry Trotz, so I don't know how much that actual voice is going to change. But as from a handicapping standpoint, I really like the Islanders to come out and a team that really wants to set the tone And I know it's kind of cliche when people say, well, teams want to do this or want to do that, but there is a little bit of an extra energy from a organization that probably feels like they've not only lost 1 year, but they probably think that they've lost 2 years as well. And I think for the graphic purposes, because I didn't want to get slapped on the wrist about this again, but I like the Islanders. But the more I think about it too, I really like the under in this game, because even nothing's going to change from the way that they play hockey. And then the way that I mean that is, this is a defensive style team. They didn't go out and change what they did very much. They didn't change personnel very much. I think they're going to still play to their strengths, which is defense. And Sorokin is going to be their number one goaltender this year. There's no doubt about that. So this is a guy that's probably going to be very focused on getting off to a good start as well. So Tony, I like the Islanders, and I like the under in this game as kind of a secondary pick. And of course, remember, they picked up. Or remember that Paul Maurice is going to be brand new head coach for Florida as well. So I always think when there's moving parts and new coaches, especially when you do it for real. I know the Winnipeg Jets were not really an under team, and of course they were not an under team under Paul Maurice, more of an over team. But I think everybody's going to kind of, from a Florida standpoint, it's a matter of trying to get on the same page, and from a New York Islanders standpoint, it's just do what we do, let's do it better, and let's have a better result this upcoming season.
All right, there you go. From Dana here, he likes in this one, the Islanders are plus 110. Also, a note there with the under the 6 goals here. We're seeing a lot of 6s here. This is the new NHL, right? Not a whole lot of 5s even on the board tonight. I only see 1 5. It's a 5.5 here with Dallas and Nashville. Yeah,
they feel pretty confident with the 6s. In fact, they're not creeping down. We don't play in that league. We don't bet in that league where we're going to see 5.5s and we're surprised by 6s. We're looking at 6.5s and we're going to see 7s and maybe even a 7.5 this year. That's the kind of league that the National Hockey League is right now. So it doesn't surprise me that it's all 6s. They're going to start out with the majority of 6s, and then they're going to adjust accordingly based on what team kind of comes out of the gates as far as the biggest offensive threat. But the team that comes to mind, of course, would be the Toronto Maple Leafs. That was the team that really came out and said, hey, look, 6s are not going to contain us. We at least need to be a 6.5, 7 total team.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And what do you make out of these teams that played in Prague? We see Nashville in action tonight. We'll see when San Jose begins their season. But what are your thoughts for some of these teams that started overseas?
Yeah, I think they got an advantage, honestly. I think that they've had more of a chance to bond. They've already played 2 regular season games, albeit against San Jose. You can whatever you're going to get out of that. But I think that there are much more of an advantage. It's like I always favor teams that have already had games under their belt against teams that don't. So I think Nashville does have an advantage going into tonight's game as well. I wouldn't shy away from it. I don't think the trip makes that big of a deal. A lot of these guys are from points far away anyway, so they're used to making that trip. I don't think it's going to have any ill effect on Nashville for sure, or San Jose for that matter.
Yeah, early starts. We see how that advantage is in college basketball when some of these teams have those European trips in August, and it does help them a lot. And that good point there. All right, we have Dana here on this one here. Islanders plus 110 against the Panthers. This is for Thursday. Also likes the under 6 for Thursday's action here at 7:35 Eastern time. All right, Dana, let's take a look over at Pick Dogs. We've been on fire here in the NFL. 805 units of profit. What a great start here in the NFL. Also a fantastic season in hockey last year. 1,619 units of profit coming off a fantastic NHL year as well. All right, we got 6 on the board from the NHL. We also have, hopefully, cross our fingers, we get 2 in tonight in baseball, that one college football. What do you have going on over at Pick Dogs Premium?
We have a ton of things going on. It is college football is up there. We're going to have, I think we have baseball up there right now. And, of course, the NHL, NBA will be coming up. And, guys, I can't emphasize to you enough, I appreciate everybody who buys the individual plays, but get the overall all-access play, because that gives you access to every single play, not just one. It's kind of frustrating for me, like when you go 4-1 on a night, and everybody picks the one, and of course you get your money back on that. But let's go 4-1. Let's not focus on getting your money back. Let's get that 4-1. So get every single play that I send out, and of course we'll have plenty of NHL, plenty of NFL. Really wish that game went under on Monday night, but 1-1 for sure. But good start in the NFL. And a very starting to get into that groove where you're feeling very confident about the games that you're putting out.
That's right, guys. I get aboard with Dana Lane over at Pick Dogs. You see the results here. 805 units of profit for the NFL for this season. Also, a fantastic unit production last year in the NHL. As we said, well over 1,600 units of profit in the NHL. 1,619 units last year in the NHL. So we're right into the season now. So get on board here with Dana Lane over at Pick Dogs. Premium. Again, the long-term passes are your best value, but he does have individual plays up there right now. Game 2 winner between the Padres and Dodgers in action here with hockey individual plays here from Blackhawks, Avalanche, as well as Kraken and Ducks. Already on the board here for some college football here for Thursday. We're going into Thursday night football as well. A lot of individual plays here from NHL and baseball. So guys, so get on board. As Dana was mentioning, the long-term passes are the best route here. And the way Dana's running, you may consider that 30-day all sports pass. We get all of Dana's premium plays for 30 days. That would include all his NFL. You see the numbers there. All his NHL. You've seen the numbers that are documented. Been fantastic. Also the baseball that will take all the way to the end of the World Series with that 1 month all sports pass, all the college football, and of course the NBA, which begins in 6 days. So this is the time now with all these sports overlapping. And, the college football won't overlap in this 30-day set. It will the next one, but not this one. But anyway, get on board there with Dana. His NBA starts in about 6 days. So we're ready to roll here with all these sports overlapping. And, of course, Dana will be your guy here. You see the results have been fantastic in NFL as well as in NHL. Of course, where he's ready. He's firing in with some big NHL plays tonight, guys. So get on board with the long-term pass. That's your best value instead of buying them individually. And, of course, you can save 15% off when you use the promo code 15OFF at checkout. You can access Dana's page by clicking the link you see in the description. Click the Cappers tab and find him and get signed up. All right, Dana, as always, great having you show. Keep up that great work. We'll talk with you again next week.
Thank you, Tony. All the best, and all the best to everybody out there. Let's make some money this week.
Let's make some money indeed. Dana Lane here on the Drive Thru. Guys, just a reminder, we're getting a lot of people signing in right now. If you miss any of our picks, we will do a complete recap at the end of the show. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Let's continue on here on the drive-thru. Up next, I see him signed in. It's Rod Zawacky. You'll find him over at Pick Dogs. Look what he's sporting today. Rod Zawacky.
Johnny!
Hey,
how's it going, buddy?
It's going great, my man. You got the Edmonton Oilers jersey ready to roll here with Oilers, and tonight we'll be looking at this one tonight. There we go. We look for him. You got to get a seat by the ice one of these days. We got to get one of those shots by the ice where the opponent's right in front of your mug. We got to see Rod Zawacky on the ice someday behind the boards. That would be something.
Someday.
Right?
Someday we'll see you behind the boards.
All right, here we go tonight at 10 Eastern time. We have the Oilers here. Edmonton back in action, hosting the Canucks. Edmonton $1.90. Total sits at 6.5.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm definitely a super fan of the Oilers. Grew up in Edmonton, so definitely excited about this team this year. Projected lineup, you got starting lineup, line number 1, Connor McDavid, Evander Kane, and Puarvi gets the start on the right wing. And you look, Oilers aren't on a one-line machine anymore. You got Draisaitl with Holloway and Hyman on a second line. So they got 2 lines that can beat you nicely now. And I think they and arguably got a third line with Nugent Hopkins, McLeod, and Warren Fogle. Also fourth line, Brad Malone, Devin Shore, Derek Ryan will get their start. And a nice pairing up with Darnell Nurse, Cody Ceci, Ryan Murray, Evan Bouchard, Kulak, and Barry will round out the defense. Jack Campbell getting the start for the Oilers, his first regular season game. Not bad in their own right with Tanner Pearson, JT Miller. Brock Besser will make his regular season debut after injuring his hand, big hand ending surgery last season. Elias Pettersson, Zumenko, and Hoglander will round out the top 2 lines there with the Canucks. And you look, the Oilers have dominated this Canucks team. Winning all 4 meetings last season. Yeah, all 4 meetings were only a 1-goal game. 3 of those did take overtime. But the Oilers got the job done. And you look this season, like I said, they're not just 2 guys lighting the lamp. They added some grit and some grind, and we got some young guys stepping up. You got to take the Oilers on the puck line here. Oilers at home, 20-7 their last 27 home games. They're 29-9 their last 38 versus the Pacific Division, and as I said, they're 4-0 the last 4 versus the Canucks. Take the puck line. 7-2 the last 9 versus these Canucks Oilers. The crowd's going to be going nuts. The Edmonton crowd was doing the wave when we were in the preseason game. 17,000 plus for a preseason game. I'm going to say this game's going to be pretty close to sold out. Ruckus Arena, place is going nuts. City's going nuts. They expect big things from the Oilers. So do I. Take the Oilers to pound out the Canucks here in the first one. Take them on the puck line.
All right, we got Ron Recker here on the Oilers here on the puck line. He did this again. I call him Orioles. Oilers here on the puck line, -1.5 goals, plus 135 against. I can't get baseball out of my mind here, Rod.
Go Oilers!
Go Oilers! That's right. Yes. The Oilers will ready to roll because the Orioles were really good team to be. Anyway, of course, the big question mark, of course, that was last year coming in, of course, was the goaltending. We saw the kings of all teams took them to 7-game series. How do you see the goaltending this year on this Oilers team?
I like the goaltending. We got Campbell in that, and I like the way Campbell played before he got hurt, and people didn't give him much of a chance after he came back from his injury. He didn't play like he did before that, but nobody plays the same way they do as they come back from injury. So for me, I'm excited. And behind Campbell, we got Skinner, and then even behind him, there's even more young talent. For the future of the Oilers, the goalie spot is definitely not going to be a hindrance going forward this season at all. I love what we got in that, be it Skinner or Soup.
Yeah, they fixed it. They fixed it. We saw the issues with the bad goals in the playoffs they were giving up last year. Oh my God.
Mike Smith last year was a sweat. You see him coming out, and you're like, oh man, here we go. So they won some, and I give them credit. They got as far as they did with Mike Smith. Shout out to him because he is when he's on, he's on. When he's not, yikes. That's the way it goes.
But the team is moving in the right direction here, looking for a deep playoff run, a good start to the season. Oilers puck line, -1.5 goals, plus 135 against the Canucks. I like that because I know the Canucks and Kings will play battle for the last playoff spot anyway. This one will be on tonight. I'm already saying they're lucky if they get. I got lucky if they got in last night. Last night was brutal. 10 Eastern time for this one. All right, Rod, why don't you let us know what you have going over at Pick Dogs Premium tonight? 6 games on the board here from the NHL. We've got, looks like some confirmation here of a 7:30 Eastern start time for Game 2 of the Braves and Phillies. Looks like they're going to try to give that one a go, Dodgers. So there's 2 games on the board for Major League Baseball, NBA preseason, the college football game tonight. What do you have going over at Pick Dogs Premium?
Well, I've got to play in that college football game tonight, my 10-star college football executive info play. Scoop it up singly over at Pick Dogs Premium. Or I've got my NHL hat trick going. You can scoop it up. Get all 3 plays in one spot that I got going in tonight's NHL action. Or as we say, grab something long-term. Grab a 3-day. That should get you right through all the way through to Saturday's college football. Grab a 7-day, get you right through NFL's Sunday as well. And then it'll get you even more hockey plays because we got 10 games tomorrow coming up. Cards get bigger and bigger as we go. Now's the time to grab something long-term. Pair me up. Use a 2-for-1 capper deal. That's another great deal there. Use promo code WIN or a 15 off. Get 15% off all your purchases over at Pink Dogs Premium. Jump aboard. Now's the time to go long term. Saves you from buying all these packages. Because with all these cappers, we dabble in more than just once. We're dabbling in hockey. We're dabbling in college football, NFL. NBA's coming up. So instead of having to buy season passes and like all these different sports, grab us long-term packs. Best way to go. Great savings to you and more winners and more money in your pocket.
More money in your pocket, guys. Got a brother Zawacky over at Pig Dogs Premium tonight on the board. He's got his NHL hat trick, a 3-pack up there. Credit guarantee. You must turn a profit or the amount you purchase is credit back in your account. That's credit guarantee. Also a hat trick up there. Individual plays here from Rod as well. Of course, as Rod was mentioning, the long-term pass will serve you well. If you want to try them out for 1 month, get the 1-month all sports pass. That covers a month of premium plays here from Rod for Major League Baseball, NFL, college football, course, that's also in play is the NBA, which starts here in 6 days. We're 6 days away from the NBA, so lots of action here, as well as the NHL. Again, this is the best time just to get the long-term passes with all these sports overlapping. 15 off. We'll take 15% off at checkout with that 1 month all sports pass here from Rod. You can also add a second capper with that 2-for-1 capper promotion. Even greater value there. All right, Rod, it's always great having your show. Enjoy the game tonight. Root on those Oilers win at least by 2 in this one, and we'll talk with you again. Of course, you're part of that morning crew every day at 10 a.m. Eastern time.
Definitely tune in the morning show. Always a good time there. So make sure you smash that like button. Costs you nothing. Helps us out a ton. And go Oilers! Let's go!
Let's go Oilers! Let's go Oilers! Let's get us nice 3-0 spot after 1, and let's win it. You got it from Rod Zawacky here on the Drive Thru. All right, check him out tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern time. All right, let's continue here on the Drive Thru, guys. You miss our picks. We're seeing a lot of people sign in. We'll do a recap at the end of the show, so make sure you stay tuned for that. All right, let's try James Clark in again. He's got connected again, so let's hope we get to him. Then we'll get to Mitch. So let's go ahead and get to James Clark. If I'm over at Pick Dogs Premium, top of the leaderboards as well. Has had a great year this year. Let's hope we can get some sound from him. James, what's happening? Still no sound, my man. I don't know what the story is. You don't got a phone? You could try a phone, anything like that, something different. It just seems that there's some issue there with your computer, James. We just can't get your sound coming through the computer. Maybe when you logged into the browser, you had to select the right microphone. That might be the case. Whatever it is, we're not getting your sound in here. But maybe we could try on another day because we're getting right to the witching hour here. But the pick you have is going off here in a minute. We do have the pick from James, but I don't think he's going to be able to get into the show unless he tried a phone because for some reason his computer is not working tonight. But we do have his pick, and we'll get it to you here on the recap. All right, let's continue on here on the Drive Thru. It's Wednesday, so it's time to bring in Mitch. You'll find Mitch over at Pick Dogs. Of course, that goes part of the morning crew every single day at 10 a.m. Eastern time. Let's go ahead and let's bring in Mitch right now. Crossing the globe here for Mitch. Mitch, what's happening?
Just living the dream. I'm sitting here waiting because, the order got messed up with Rod and Dana. Normally I get up and do things and then come back and, do the show. But, because the order was mixed up, I didn't know, which was the thing. So I'm just preparing the backdrop for the videos for the NBA. And, I'm just sitting there. So just messing around with, what's going to be this year's backdrop for my videos for the NBA.
Nice. NBA is just about 6 days away. Looking forward to it. I'll be checking an NBA game tonight. I'll be at the Clipper game tonight, Clippers and the Nuggets. I'm looking forward to seeing the Kawhi and John Wall show this year, Mitch.
Yeah, it's a little bit different look here for the Clips.
All right, tonight we're going a little different look here, right? The Ducks here against the Kraken. Mitchie Pucks with a pick here on the Drive Thru with the Ducks minus 115, total 5.5.
Yeah, I know really nothing about hockey whatsoever. We joke around. I've done the lucky penny flip for years on the show when we talk about hockey, and now we have the betting tools. So now I just go to the betting tools and I just find one that looks attractive. This one looks like you're getting reasonable odds here on the Ducks at minus 115. I know nothing about them. I couldn't tell you one player on either team, but my hockey record speaks for itself, and that's because I just used the betting tools. Went over here, and Seattle Kraken have lost 5 in a row as underdogs. Whereas the Kraken were an expansion team last year. That's about all I know about them. I couldn't tell you one player on either team. But I'm taking the Ducks here because the betting tools say so. All
right, betting tools play here. Ducks here, minus 115 here against the Kraken. Let's know about the betting tools, Mitch. A lot of content up there. I've looked at it myself many times here with the content here from the tools. Really good stuff for props as well.
Yeah, I just think that, the props are great at the betting tools, the angles, the parlay builder. We have pretty much, all different ways to do it. For me, it's like one of the things that I do there that a lot of people wonder, and I do it on my 7 free picks, is where do you find the totals? Where do I find those totals that I talk about on the show? And where I find those is I go to the tools, I go to best parlay, and then I kind of back into it. I'll find the sport that I want. And then I'll look at the, I'll eliminate all the other choices. I'll just have total, and then I'll put it up to, 10 and see what comes back. So only 9 available totals tonight. And we look, and it's like for this particular game, it will say, see if they have one even for this one. Nope, this game, not even any betting tool pick on the total. But, like here's Well, these are Thursday games. Here's a Wednesday game. 4 of the Blackhawks' last 5 games have gone under. Not a very exciting one there. But, yeah, not very exciting at all. 4 of the Bruins' last 6 night games have gone over the total. So it's early in the season, so we don't have a ton to work with there.
Yeah, sometimes the data...
It'll get more.
Yeah, you get more. Now we're in that part of the season, Mitch, where we're getting the data now for the NFL and for the college football. And it's really, when that type of information, of course, with roster turnover, I think you really look for some data in there.
Absolutely.
All right. Of course, we always on Wednesdays we always go off the rails with Mitch. I like to throw in some college football at him. I know the college football show is tomorrow, but Minnesota, Illinois, Mitch. We see Minnesota seem to be the wise guy pick of the week so far. They opened 4 up to about 6.5 now.
Yeah, the wise guys seem to be okay in college football this year. Gotten crushed in NFL with the Commanders, getting absolutely destroyed. It seems that they always find that team to just get beaten down on every year, for at least the first 10 games or so. And this year it was the Commanders.
I was with you when you said, I wish people would explain to me why they would be on the Commanders. I did the same thing. I mean, I like Tennessee was a premium for me, and it almost psyched me out. I said, I don't care what who the Sharps are on. My eyes, this data is showing me to go on Tennessee.
Yeah, there was nothing. I don't see any. There was nothing there that said Commanders. And, Carson Wentz, I'll say it. I said it once. I'll say it all day long. The Colts felt that they have a better chance to win with Matt Ryan as their quarterback than Carson Wentz, and he's shot. He's absolutely shot.
Yeah, that was pretty bad there. There's no doubt about that.
Tells you everything. I mean, he's Matt Ryan's probably in his last year, and Carson Wentz is still 4 or 5 years into his career.
Maybe 6. Yeah, still young. Penn State, Michigan here. This one opened 6.5. Michigan now up to 7. Total is about 52 now.
Penn State's really not a bad team. We've watched them all season long and kind of underestimated. I looked past them in that Purdue game, but they certainly came to life at Auburn. Just absolutely stomping them, and I think they give Michigan a game here. We've seen Harbaugh coach. After last year, we have to give him a little bit of credit. He's not our guy that we just beat up every week anymore. But 6.5 seems to be a lot, even at the Big House.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that one. All right, guys, we'll get back to the football. Let's get right to the recap here. Mitch will help us out here as we're hitting the witching hour here, and we'll go ahead and show the picks up here. Mitch will join me on this one. We start with Chris. Chris said take the Maple Leafs Canadians over 6.5. James, unfortunately, we couldn't get James on. His sound was not coming in. He has Marshall, Louisiana under 46.5. El McMordie on the Padres here at plus 160 against the Dodgers. El Ninos here, Blackhawks, Avalanche over 6.5. Rod here, Oilers puck line, laid the goal and a half, plus 135 against Canucks. Dana on a Thursday pick here, Islanders plus 110 against the Panthers. Mitch was on the Ducks minus 115 against the Krakens. I'm going to do this again like I did last few days ago. Worked well from you, Darvish, over 17.5 outs. You got to go at least 6 full innings. All right, Mitch, other than your pick, which one do you like the best?
The only one that I know out of these. Oof.
That's right. It's all hockey.
Wow, these are tough. I like yours, Darvish over 17.5 outs. I think that the Padres need a really strong outing from Darvish here, and they'll leave him out there as long as they can. So that's just that's under 6 innings. So
yeah, that's
no problem.
6 times. Yeah. Darvish, they're 6 innings, 6 full innings. They'll get the money at 18 outs. Get 18 outs. That's the cash. That's the cash, right? So my math is right. 6 times 3 is 18. So you get 6 full innings in there. So yep. And of course,
no problem.
Marshall, Louisiana under 46.5. I kind of agree with James on that one. The Marshall quarterback situation there. It's just in Louisiana, boy, that team that team really offensively took a dive when they lost their quarterback.
Well, they also lost their head coach.
Head coach too. That's right.
That has something to do with it too.
That's a lot to do with it. All right, getting back here with Mitch here as we're looking here at a little bit of college football. Kansas and Oklahoma. We've seen Oklahoma up from 7 to 9. And there's some 9.5s, and we're a very sharp offshore book.
Yeah, Oklahoma is pretty terrible this season, and Will Venables has got a lot of work to do there. A lot of wood to chop. The thing is that Lincoln Riley didn't exactly leave the cupboard full. A lot of their best players transferred out, and we're starting to see that. So I think there's better days for Venables ahead. I just don't think it's right now. I think this is the time, where we kind of see, I say this all the time when the Clippers play the Lakers. It's like the years of being the on the business end of the beatdown finally pays off. And I think, Oklahoma might be in trouble here in this one too.
All right, interesting one here. Iowa State at Texas. Texas is going to see a really good defensive team. And the Texas here laying 16 and 17 is out there in the marketplace right now.
Texas is a 2-loss team any way you slice it, and I believe that they beat Alabama. And I'll give them credit for that, but the record doesn't show it. 4-2 straight up, and Iowa State has just shown us no offense whatsoever. But the thing is that they're not as bad as they've been, and I expect them to be able to at least slow Texas down. Iowa State has the way better defense here.
That's the game that really stood out to me. That's the one that really standing out to me right now.
They haven't been able to. They need to force a turnover. They're going to need to force a turnover, just to set their offense up. But it's like if they can get one turnover, that should do it.
Miami at Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech's offense has just been trashed, but it's showed a little bit of improvement here. That's why it opened 8.5. Miami now down to 7.
Yeah, I really do not trust Miami. Last week Van Dyke throwing the interception on what could have been the game-winning or game-tying drive really didn't, not even anywhere near a receiver, and really did not need to rush that much as he did. I think the Canes have now lost 3 in a row, and we're starting to see that maybe the Cristobal era really might start next season. There was I told this story in the video, which hasn't been posted yet, but back in 1984, Jimmy Johnson's first season, the last 4 games of the year, the Hurricanes gave up high 40s every game, including the Doug Flutie game, the Frank Reich comeback by Maryland, where the Canes were up 31-0 at halftime, the UCLA Gaston Green game in the bowl game, and then there was one other game in there, but they gave up high 40s in each of those games. And after that, well, they were shut down D that, you were lucky if you got 10. The next year, I think Marshall Faulk got 4 yards rushing against them. So I think that, and Emmitt Smith had 8. So, it takes a little bit of a process. And sometimes it's these types of games and getting your guys in there and, making the adjustments. It just doesn't happen overnight. And I think the Canes have the most talent out there. I'm biased, but at the same time, they also have the most top 300 ESPN recruits last year in recruiting, and I think they're on track to do the same again this season. So, they might not have the number 1 and 2 overall guys, but they have the most players that are ranked in the top 300 in this recruiting class, and they did last year as well. So I think, things are heading in the right direction. It's just not going to happen overnight. Virginia Tech's offense is straight terrible, but they always play the Canes tough.
Play them tough, no doubt. All right, we've got the interesting one here. NC State at Syracuse. Syracuse from 3 to 3.5. I think it's because NC State's offense just hasn't clicked this year.
No, it clicks enough to get me on them. I'm going to take the hook there with NC State. Syracuse, I think, got really lucky against Purdue. I had Syracuse that game. There's been probably 3 horrific things in college football this year. Number 1 was the worst game, was the Indiana-Illinois game. Number 2 was Syracuse Purdue, and 3 was that called back touchdown against by UCF against Louisville. I mean, just hideous officiating that is blatant. And I would say number 4 was Michigan at Indiana this past weekend with 8 million penalties, all against Michigan once again at Indiana. But I think that Purdue is a lot better team than people give them credit for. They did lose that game to Penn State, which I think is just more of a credit to Penn State. Yeah. Than anything against Purdue. The loss to Syracuse was they won that game. And, we saw last week, I mean, they went in there, they didn't even think twice that they were ever going to lose that game. They went down a few times in that game. And no doubt, they never doubted they were going to win that thing.
Nope. Good one here. Arkansas and Tennessee. We're seeing Alabama and Tennessee. Alabama 7. We're seeing some 7.5s now in the market. So 66 total.
Well, look at the last 15 games between these teams. Only one game has been close. There was one 16-14 game in there. The rest of them have been 30 plus. And, before Tennessee, can start to claim anything, they got to hang with Alabama, and we haven't seen them do that yet. So I'm going to take Bama here and lay the points.
Looking at Bama laying the points. Interesting one here. Oklahoma State at TCU. I think TCU getting the better quarterback play. Sanders' numbers not too sharp in the Big 12 when you look at the yards per attempt. TCU laying 4 here, total 68.5, up from 3.5.
This just tells you how good this TCU team is, because Oklahoma certainly has been in the higher profile games. TCU had the blowout of Oklahoma, but with Texas's blowout of them, little less, I don't know, fanfare or whatever taken off it. Look at that 68.5. I love those 10 touchdowns to cover the over. So normally, when you need 10 touchdowns, you get them.
We got one here. Arkansas at BYU. Interesting scheduling here. Arkansas here was BYU 2. Now Arkansas the favorite here. Maybe a lot of SEC pom-poms here. We've seen Arkansas just really, really weak in the secondary. Can BYU take advantage of that?
Yeah. BYU is a tough team, and a real physical team. And, I was out in Vegas this past weekend, and they had their fans, showed up and, big time for that game against Notre Dame. I think, BYU's really scheduled it up here in their last week, but I think that Arkansas defense is just terrible, and I think BYU is going to put some points on them.
Yeah, you got to always respect BYU's performance at home against Baylor, getting that win in overtime. James Madison has been covering like crazy, 5-0 to the spread. Now they're going to lay 12. There's a 12.5 in one of the sharpest books offshore, opening from 10 here against Georgia Southern.
Yeah, Georgia Southern had the big win against Nebraska, but, they're up against a JMU team that's feeling it. We've had a few teams bust onto the scene here, in their first year in FBS, and, Old Dominion kind of riding that same train here. You don't want to get in front of the train with any of these guys. Eventually they'll get knocked off, but it'll be a game that, it'll be a game where you really don't see it coming, and I don't think this is it.
Brian Kelly off a loss here. LSU on the road here against Florida. Florida opened 3.5. It's now down to 2.5 in many places.
Yeah, this is the series that got Dan Mullen fired at Florida. They've lost 4 years in a row to LSU, and the weird thing about this one with Florida and LSU is that most people don't recognize, kind of like Bama, Tennessee, only because it's been so one-sided in recent years. But that's a gigantic hate-your-guts rivalry, and this one is as well. Those of you that are super familiar with college football, that conferences that are split between East and West. The East always plays like all the teams in the East. The West always plays all the teams in the West, and then you have a few crossover games. But if it's considered a rivalry game, like Michigan, Ohio State, Miami, Florida State, they play each other every year. And Florida LSU is considered a crossover rivalry game. They play every single year, even though LSU is in the West and Florida is in the East. Remember when they had the hurricane in Florida, they canceled the game. And then at the end of the season, LSU didn't want to make it up, and Florida showed up there and they played it. It's free tickets, and Florida beat them. But I think that was the last time Florida beat LSU.
All right, here we go. Another one here. Clemson on the road against Florida State. This is one of the bigger line moves again. Opened at Clemson 6, now down to 3.5. Totals up from 47 to 51.
Yeah, Clemson's a machine. They're going to win this game. I think if you can get it low enough, you just take the money line. But I don't think there's any reason to lay the big, anything, because I think Clemson has no problem in this one. We saw Clemson twice this season score meaningless touchdowns and rub it in situations. And Dabo Swinney, both times wrote it off during the post-game interview. First one was against Georgia Tech, where he put the freshman quarterback in and said he just wanted to work with the freshman quarterback, and the other coach would understand that he wanted to, him to be able to, get some game action and finish a drive. And that almost made sense, even though they were up by 50. And then last week in the red bandana game at Boston College, to throw deep and then punch it in from the 2-yard line, like Lane Kiffin did in that Ole Miss game.
Mississippi State at Kentucky here. We see Mississippi State open 6, now down to 4. Total up from 47 to 49.
This is the best Mike Leach team I've ever seen. and not getting a lot of respect in this one. My guess is the Kentucky quarterback Levis is going to be back for this one, and that explains the line movement. But he's not enough to beat this Mississippi State team. Once this team starts rolling downhill, they're impossible to stop. And the thing is that even that game against LSU, it was a couple of cheap calls in a game that they were ahead, and let it get away from them. But they've gotten into some tough spots. They went to the Pac-12. Yeah, they played Arizona, but they flew across the country and played. This is a tough team.
That is, no doubt. Interesting one here. North Carolina at Duke. How good is Duke here? North Carolina opened 6.5. Now, money on North Carolina up to 7, total up from 66 to 67.
Well, Duke took one on the chin last week against Georgia Tech. They just could not get any points on the board. But Georgia Tech, in hindsight, the last 2 games, they've actually played pretty well. And, and even go a little bit further back, they've covered some of these big spreads this season. But I think that, Duke probably reopens the aerial attack. North Carolina defense is terrible, man. They are just straight ass. I expect Duke to be able to just shred them.
Yeah, I look that way. All right.
I like the over in that one, too.
The over, indeed. Okay, USC at Utah. Utah here open 3. It's caught up here, Mitch. The sharp books and everyone is now on board here with a 3.5. Total up from 58. Look at this, from 58 now up to 65 in some places.
Well, we saw the running game go nuts on Utah last week at UCLA. And, Utah is certainly the diagram is out there on how to beat the Utes, but they're at home in this one, and they're usually pretty tough there in the altitude. USC hasn't taken a loss. They're the worst of the unbeatens and the worst team in the top 10. And, they, to their credit, they've gotten it done, but, man, they just seem like very, very vulnerable.
Especially in that Oregon State game, right? We've seen Oregon State now. They're 3.5 at home here against Washington State. Interception machine here, quarterback there. Up to 4 in some places now, Oregon State favored.
They're going to lose the Shillelagh game to Notre Dame, for sure.
Yep. Air Force laying 10 at UNLV.
UNLV, it's kind of the love-hate relationship with this team. It's like every week either they love them or they hate them, and this week they hate them. Air Force is pretty good. I mean, they are, this is a legitimate team, but I don't think you want to give UNLV 10.5. I think Air Force maybe wins, but I think it's less than a touchdown.
Yeah, it could be. All right, that was our rundown here with Mitch. Of course, we do this off the rails with Mitch here with college football. And Mitch, any news here? What's happening?
I want to say one more thing about last week's games. And I mentioned it just briefly. Is that Ole Miss was up by 17, laying 17.5 against Vandy with a minute left to go in the game, and Lane Kiffin went into a hurry-up offense, threw deep with 18 seconds left to go in the game, punched it in from the 1-yard line for the score. I don't know, it's,
Get the page out of his book.
we expect nothing less from Lane Kiffin, but at the same time, whatever happened to the sportsmanship, it was Vandy. Vandy's considered like harmless, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they threw deep. They punched it in. It wasn't like, oh, there's 18 seconds left, we'll just take a knee on the 1-yard line or whatever. No, they punched it in, and they were excited about it.
Wow, indeed.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
All right.
especially with the line. So the line was 17. It went 17.5.
Nice.
So they covered on that play, which made it even stranger.
Nice. All right, Mitch, anything else what's happening over at Pick Dogs and Sports Chat?
Well, over at Pick Dogs, we've got as Rod said, the 15 off. Of course, we got the 2-for-1 capper special, and we have the Puck Dogs packages are back. I'm surprised he didn't mention those, but we have the Puck Dogs packages as well going on. We're gonna run a sale on the swag like I'm wearing, the hat and the hoodies, the shirts, everything for Halloween. I think we're running 25% off. I'll post that on the social media. You don't need any discount code or anything like that. It's just gonna be 15% off for 3 days for the weekend. And aside from that, we have here it is. My wife just showed me. Sam posted it already on the social media. You can see it right there.
Wow, 25%.
Yeah, 25% off for
Yes.
Pick Dogs gear. You can see the Frankenstein Pick Dog there. I might use that logo actually for some of the other stuff. Ask Sam if I can get a copy of that. And yeah, we have that going on. We've got the 15 off. We got the capper specials. And if you sign up for my newsletter, I'm going to give away a free consensus report this weekend. I was going to start it today. I sent out a newsletter today. I haven't sent out a newsletter in a while. Yeah. But I'm going to send out, I'm going to start sending it out every day. We had some site problems with the site going down, and we even had that today at Pick Dogs. But I believe it's stabilized enough, and I'm going to just continue. I'm going to start sending out the newsletter again every day. And Friday, I'll be sending out a free 3-day consensus report, but you'll need the code in order to get that. So make sure you sign up for our newsletter to get that code.
There you go. From Mitch, sign up for those newsletters. Get the code here from Mitch. All right.
Also,
Mitch,
if you sign up for any sports book using our link, if you send me a screenshot of you signing up for the sports book using the link and making that initial deposit, and if you send me that, and then once it's confirmed by the sports book that that's good, I'll give you a free 1-year consensus report, $350 value, free.
Great value there, guys. Take advantage. All right.
That's as good as I can do.
That's great work there. Christmas in October. There you go.
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
Hey, that's good. That's not good forever. That's good till the end of October.
End of October. There you go. There you go.
Trick
Mitch.
or treat.
Nice.
All right,
Mitch. Great talking with you again. As usual, we'll talk with you again next week.
All right, Tony. Thanks for everything you do here at Pick Dogs.
Appreciate you. Mitch here on the drive. I see James is signed in, so let's give him another shot here because his game starts at the bottom of the hour. Let's see if we can bring in James Clark if I'm over at Pick Dogs. We had some connection issues, so let's hope he fixes it. So we'll try and get him in right now at the tail end of our extended shows. We went off the rails. Let's see if James can join us again. James, you there?
Yeah. Can you hear
Hey,
me?
we got sound. We got sound from James Clark. Oh, my goodness. It took us a little while, but we got there. All right. Hey, I told you this game starts at bottom of the hour, so there's time to bring in James. All right, here we go. We go to the action here from the Sun Belt. Is Marshall here, hosts Louisiana. Marshall laying 10.5, total 46.5.
Yeah, Tony. You look at these two teams, and from last year, man, these two teams offensively have went downhill. Especially the Raging Cajuns. Marshall's always had a good defense that's always stepped up, and I look for same thing tonight. Marshall handing the ball off, running the ball, running the clock. Raging Cajuns turning it over, probably scoring anything, if maybe get a touchdown, whatever. I just look for both of these teams, to not score a lot. Marshall's averaging like 6 or 20 points a game, and I think Louisiana Tech's averaging 16. And both of these teams are not averaging many points on the season. And it's 46.5. I think it's a give me. I really like the under in this game.
Yeah, that one I'm with you there on the under. It's just as I talked with Mitch earlier about Louisiana, how poor the offense was, the quarterback situation there was. Of course, they did lose. Remember, they did lose their head coach, much coveted head coach there. The run game, here's the problem: you're not really getting good quarterback play, and you don't get really good help here from your run game. It's going to be really, really tough. And then you add a team that can rush the passer, even triply tough.
Yeah, Marshall's they've had a good defense for the last few years, and I look for them to step up here. But see, when Marshall gets the ball, they're going to run the ball. They got a good running back. I look for them to hand it off and look him get 150 yards rushing. Marshall's averaging about 220, 230 on the ground, and I would say his name, but I butchered it up. But he like I said, he's averaging a little over 125 yards a game, and I look for him to get that again today.
All right, James here is going to go here with this play here with Marshall and Louisiana under 46.5. And, of course, this one is going to start here at the bottom of the hour here. Of course, this James Clark, who's been on absolute fire over at Pick Dog Stream. So you guys want to check him out there, as we're going to go ahead and put up his numbers right now. We're just updating some numbers here from you, James, as I refresh the screen. We are 24-hour grading. So let's let's take a look over at Pick Dogs Premium for tonight, as we'll go ahead and pull James's numbers up here. It's been fantastic here. 2,789 units of profit for 2022. That is all documented over at Pick Dogs Premium. You can verify that by going over to James's Handicapper page. Go down to Pick History. You can see all the plays up there, fully documented, showing great profit this year. MLB, top units leader in MLB this year, coming off a fantastic NBA season last year. Great start to the NFL season as well. All right, James, what do you have going on over at Pick Dogs Premium?
Guys, I had a 3-pack. Had one that plays go off with the Braves. It looks like they got a new start time. Anyways, I got 2 plays up. I got a side on the Marshall game, and also I have the other baseball playoff game. I got them sold individually. Get either one of them or get both of them. And after we go 2-0, or the guys that got the 3-pack earlier, after we go 3-0, upgrade 3, 7, and 30 today, guys. There's a lot going on. Pick Dogs, Sports Chat place. But the big thing coming up for me, guys, is if you've been following me last couple of years, I've been red hot in the NBA, guys. Last year, over 2,900 units. The year before that, over 1,900 units. Maybe we want to look at the season pass. That's from starts off here in like 6 days. That's from day 1 of the NBA until we crown a champion, guys. Check that out. It's been double, triple, paying off itself. So maybe check that out. Or guys, like I say every time I'm on the show, we got the best cappers in the world, and we do by far. So team me up with any of the cappers on the site, or if you've seen here on the show tonight, and we'll put some money in your pocket.
That's right, guys. Got on board with James Hawk over at Pick Dogs Premium. Great results here for 2022. 2,789 units of profit over at Pick Dogs. Top unit producer here in Major League Baseball. Showing great profit here in the NFL. Also, the top unit producer in the NBA last year. NBA is just 6 days away, so a good time to get on board here with James Clark over at Pick Dogs Premium. On the board tonight, college football aside, some late night baseball winner to year right now. He's been on fire here with his premium plays from baseball. 11-3-1 in his last 15 premium plays. So get on board with it right now from James. Of course, these individual plays are sold with credit guarantee, meaning they must turn a profit or the amount you purchase is credit back in your account. That's credit guarantee. So get on board there with James Clark over at Pick Dogs, a premium. And of course, the way James is running here, you may consider the long-term pass. That 1 month all sports pass will get you all of James's premium plays for 1 month, includes all his baseball, top unit producer in baseball this year, all the way to the final game of the World Series. Also, all the NFL, all the college football here for 30 days. And of course, the NBA, which starts in 6 days. You'll get a good 24 days of coverage from the NBA from James, who was a top unit producer in the NBA last year. You see the numbers he's proven to time and the couple of years he's been here at Pick Dogs, man delivers, man. So go ahead and get on board with that long-term pass, that 1 month pass. If it's within your budget, he does have a 1 year pass, James. So that 1 year pass, pretty good option right there, because you're in action year round and you produce great results.
Yeah, guys, and if with the 15% discounts, makes it even better, guys, for the 1 year pass. Been red hot, like I said here lately. Been red hot last couple of years in the NBA. Number 1, as Tony said, in the MLB. Try it out, guys. Try a month out if you can't afford the year. And once you get the monthly plays, they'll pay for your yearly package, and we'll win from now until the rest of the year, guys.
That's right, guys. Get on board here with James Clark at 1 year all sports pass. That promo code WIN15 at 15 off at checkout will save you 15% off, and that is a significant discount here. When you use that, you'll be saving $240 off that 1 year all sports pass when you use that promo code at checkout, guys. So go ahead and get on board with James Clark. You can access James's page right now by clicking the link you see in the description, and then look where it says all cappers. You just click that. When you click the all cappers, then you will find James's page and scroll down to where it says year-long money train, and you'll get signed up. All right, James, as always, great having your show. We got you in. I hope you continue that great success, and we'll talk with you again when you're available.
All right, Tony. I appreciate you having patience, man. I went through 2 computers, 2 phones. I don't know what was going on. We had a bad storm. Had power off for a little while, but I don't know what it was. But we finally got it. I appreciate you being patient. And let's cash some tickets tonight, guys, and I'll see y'all when I get a chance.
Let's see if we get a chance. So James Clark here on the drive-thru. Let's continue our coverage, guys. I gave you my pick earlier. I like Darvish to go at least. Let me go ahead and put that game card up for you here. As we're going to look at this Dodger game here against the Padres, and we're going to go Darvish. I just want to make sure we get clear here on the innings. I got him going at least a full 6 innings in this game, and I just want to make sure you get it right with the outs here, because we're going to be looking at this Padre-Dodger game, and we're going to be looking here at Darvish over 17.5 outs. He has to go at least 6 innings. So you go 6 full innings, that catches. So that's where I'm at on this one. I mean, Darvish has just been the guy, right? And we saw his performance here against the Mets. This is their best chance, right? This is the Padres' best chance, and they are going to keep him in. The bullpen. We used a bit of it last night. You knew they were with Clevenger on the hill, but Darvish is the guy I see to go pretty deep. When you look at Darvish, man, he's been really well. He's allowed 2 earned runs or fewer in 4 of his past 5 starts. We saw this outing here against the Mets. That was absolute clutch. Nothing against the Dodgers and Kershaw. I just see Darvish in fantastic form and able to log in the 6 innings that is needed here to keep his team in this series and in this game. So that's where we're rolling there with it. All right, guys, I do have a premium pick up there still on the board. My best bet tonight for Major League Baseball is still up there, so get on board with that, guys. I'm also part of the 2-for-1 capper promotions. You can match me up with some of the other cappers here on the show. You can match me up with James, with the Mitch, with Chris, with Big Al McMordie, with El Ninos. 2-for-1 capper promotion, your best value here over at Pick Dogs. All right, I gave you the recap earlier, but let's just do it again. Some games have started, but I gave you guys enough time there. Maple Leafs Canadians over 6.5 with Chris. James was on Marshall, Louisiana, under 46.5. Big Al McMordie was on the Padres, plus 160 against the Dodgers. El Ninos, Blackhawks, Avalanche, over 6.5. Goals, Rod here, Oilers puck line, lay the goal and a half, plus 135 against the Canucks. Dana has a pick for you here on Thursday, and that is the Islanders, plus 110 against the Panthers. Mitch was on the Ducks, minus 115 against the Kraken. I'm on Darvish over 17.5 outs, goes at least a full 6 innings in. That's the way it rolls here on the drive-through. And the one I like is I like James's play there, Marshall, Louisiana, under 46.5. And I think we got every game in. We got every game except the one that started was, I believe, the Canadians and Maple Leafs. But for the most part, everything is still ready to roll, and we got you the recap. That's going to do it for this edition of the drive-through, guys. Be sure to tune in again tomorrow live here at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll do it all over again. Bring our cappers in from Pick Dogs and Sports Chat Play. Still deliver live picks for games in prime time. A lot more on the menu tomorrow. A lot of hockey. We'll have some NBA preseason. We'll have a couple of baseball games scheduled, as well as the NFL, and some from college football as well. So that's going to do it here for the show, guys. Make sure you tune in every day, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. It's the morning show. Mitch, Chris, and Rod with the morning show. Also, the video series here. We got Mitch's 7 picks in 5 minutes. We also have Romanelli's rundown for Major League Baseball and the NFL on NFL weekends. Also, we have Javon's parlay. We also have Mills and Brad with their UFC show this weekend following the morning show. Also, the college football show coming up tomorrow with Chris, Romanelli, and Mitch. And also, the NFL show was shot today. It's on the archive. Check it out. Big Al's been on absolute fire. He's been pounding the winners like crazy over there. Check it out. It's Big Al McMordie, Mitch, and Jay with the NFL show, as he's been on absolute fire. Big Al McMordie, the numbers are amazing. So you guys, that's must-watch video there, that show there with Mitch, Big Al, and Jay. No doubt about that. All right, that's going to do it for the show, guys. Let's go ahead and bring in the crew from tonight. We're going to wave goodbye to you guys. You guys have a great night. We'll talk with you.